Fabian Seh, back in the place, season 3, episode 1. Who knew? What is Fabian saying in this episode? Hear what me I say. Writing is a thing, people. Writing in and of itself, as a writer, a creator of words, is a thing. It's a journey, it's a process. You wake up at night time, some ideas keep coming back to you. And then additionally, self-publishing. So I have self-published 3 books now at this point. The first one was New Thought, New Words. Then I just released recently Tribal Elements with Tribe Sankofa, which you're going to see in the interview that follows this. And then after that, Djembe, my first children's book. And that's also a process, but it's a labor of love, tenacity, focus, and dedication. And like I keep saying to people, there's nothing like that feeling of holding the first book in your hand and me hug him up, me smell it. You're like, it's a real thing in the world. So I want to pause right now and encourage any and everybody who thinks themselves to be creative, and I believe everybody is. But if you're going down the road of being a writer, please, here's the first thing. Writers write. Writers write. People say, oh, I'm a writer. That's what you're writing now. Nothing. When was the last time you wrote something? 6 years ago. Oh, okay. So you're used to be a writer. So writers write, and write it down. Even if you think of foolishness, write it down, get it out of you. Then you can go back and edit and tweak. Then also you have to now figure out, now that I've written, what do I want? Is it important for me for people to hear it? Is my audience private, family? Do I want to be on a big stage? Am I going to publish? Am I going to go down the road of a publisher? And I've gone the publisher road. I have to admit, not tenaciously. I have a manuscript of poetry that I really want to get into the world, and I'm thinking I might self-publish. I sent it to one publisher because I wanted this publisher to say yes, and it took 3 years, and I got a no. They weren't interested, and that's fine. When Man and James shared that for Brief History of 7 Killings that went on to win Man Booker Prize and all these things, he got 70 rejections, 70 rejections. Me get one and go something. So now I'm thinking, should I send out to other people? So think about that. Do you want to go the publisher route? What kind of publisher will work for you? Do some research. Who is your audience? Or are you going to self-publish? And then with self-publish now comes the demands of you being the guarder. So educating yourself about guarding the quality, the style, the presentation. I might do a Fabian Seh on this, on the self-publishing field. But words are beautiful and important, and so are books and readers. So today we're looking at a book that I am part of. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and spend some time with me and a couple of my co-writers in a Tribe Ting. Tribal Elements. Enough love and light. Blessings. Greetings and salutations, greetings and salutations, greetings and salutations. It's customary. I always say 3 times, and this is the beginning of season 3 of Fabian Seh. What, can you believe it? I am in shock. And of course, I'm excited because it's my birthday weekend, May 7th and so. So I pushed to get these episodes done at a crazy pace. My birthday was on May the 7th, which was yesterday. And today, Sunday, we're launching not 1 but 2 episodes of Fabian Seh, season 3 to return. And the first one is this one with these 2 lovely human beings right here. We're talking about Tribal Elements, a book that we worked on together. Our other co-conspirator, Rica G, is not here. If she's busy, one more time. But we're going to be having a clip from her a little later. So help me welcome Susanna Blagrove. Big up yourself. How you do?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm good. And her writer's name is KAYAH. Greeting, KAYAH.
Greetings.
You may tell him the government name if you so choose.
Absolutely. I'm also known as Zara Warner.
Yes. And let me tell you, people, saints. What if we celebrate? So Fabian Seh season 3, but this book that we have worked on together, that's been in our lives for about 2 years, 3.
On that. Mm-hmm.
We had the idea to do this book, a chapbook, collection of writings, original writings from members of my performing arts collective, Tribe Sankofa. And it was an idea that I put out there, and we had one set of writers, and then two people no longer in the mix, and then we edited and tweaked. So we did an internal process, sent it out to some external editors, Professor Mervyn Morris and Lorna Goodison. Then we grouped again, huddled, and then the design process. Let me tell you something. It's when you're self-publishing, it's a thing. So my co-conspirators, tell me, along this journey we've taken to bring this book to life and to light, what stands out for you the most?
Hmm. You want to go first, Sarah?
First, Susie.
Well, I'll always say it is definitely the process. So after we collected the poems and everything, and we'd done our editing, it was the outside editing that was like, yeah. So Mervyn Morris,
Woo!
Lorna Goodison, I love those two. I mean, I grew up reading their poetry, all of that. So it was a mixture of like excitement and trepidation that that they would be the ones looking at the writing. But I think my favorite part of it was when it came back and all the positive feedback and the constructive criticism. That was my best. That's the best part for me. Yeah.
Nice. KAYAH, for you.
Absolutely. I would echo that and also add getting to work with this team. These talented writers, everybody has these distinctive voices. Everybody comes with these perspectives and this life experience that they put into the work. And you got to sit and soak it up. It was like a writer's workshop. And I really enjoyed that process of us getting to know each other's work and refine it together. And specifically with the in-house mentoring that you and Rica G provided us, Certi, that was a really nice experience that I hadn't had in a while of, that constructive criticism in molding and shaping them further, even before we sent them out. I think that was really, really valuable for me. I really enjoyed it.
And Rica consistently echoes that. She says for her, that was the highlight. It was getting to play the role of editor and mentor, which she hadn't played in a long time. But also how it kind of strengthened the team, strengthened it was this huddle. We were working on this thing, we were bringing this child to life. For me, I think it was the whole process, but I think it's always a thing about when you see or hold the first copy in your hand. For me, it's always it's the and Susie,
Yeah.
we'll add it to you later. Hold up the book, let the people them see. That's still have
Oh,
hold it up.
okay.
Whoa, if the baby pretty one more time. And I have at this point pause and big up. And again, there are no accidents in life. And Susie and Zara know my favorite test Jamaican proverb or saying is what is for you cannot be unto you.
Yep.
Going through the process in the throes of this on social media, a colleague of mine, Patrick Waldemar, posted his artwork and he posted the picture, the image you see on the cover of our book, and it stopped me. And it stopped me in my tracks even before I saw the Sankofa bird. Is the blue that grabbed me because I love blue, and I thought, what a beautiful picture. And the opposite, and then I said, oh, is that a Sankofa bird? Ah! And I messaged Patrick right away saying, what an amazing image. Could you possibly find it in your heart to allow my child to use it? And he said, yeah, man, no problem. Send me an email. That was it. Within 5 minutes, he had emailed me the image. So we baby pretty and we enjoy the process. And we're just grateful and glad that it's here. And we've had our launch, and we relaunched at Bookophilia, which was an amazingly big deal for me. Bookophilia, many people thought it was closed, including me about a year ago. And that, for me, is the writer's oasis. It's the book lover's oasis. And we were so honored to be there for our launch. And the people showed out
Oh yes. Oh
and
yes.
bought books.
And
And we're grateful for that this book is alive and in the world. Um, do either of you have a favorite poem in the book? Whether one of you, so yes, give me two favorites. A favorite of one of yours and a favorite of the rest of we.
Wow.
hard one. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. I
Asking for a favorite is that's hard
So
for.
let's not call it favorite.
Okay.
One that speaks to you.
Okay. All right.
I'll go first because for me it's easy. I'm gonna say I have several. Me love all of them. As you said, I'm really moved and impressed by the quality of the work. I feel say we are writer, we can write, we have talent, we have something to say. But because Calabash is near and dear to my heart,
Mm,
so Zara's Calabash poem, Sun Sea Word, for me is one of my faves.
mm,
And of my own, wow, I'm probably going to say, it's between Yele and Sunny of my own pieces in the book. But
mm.
as I said, I love all the pieces. But Calabash, as writers, and actually somebody responded when we shared from the launch that they're dying to hear that poem and other readings from the book at the open mic at the next Calabash.
Ah,
And I was like, yes,
Hi.
and
yes.
speak it into being.
Have you decided yet?
I actually have a favorite from everybody.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So
So,
go ahead.
so for Kaya, definitely Dare River. Like I absolutely
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yes.
I love the church imagery. I love the use of the language that you can just
Hmm.
see it happening, the water
River
going
Mama wherever she is.
and the dancing and yeah,
Yeah.
definitely for Rica G. No, we know her poems don't have titles. So I'm
Yes.
Right.
gonna say the one that starts chin hairs, right? The one in
Mm,
the H
Ah.
section that starts chin hairs. Absolutely.
Yes.
That always just hits. For
Yeah.
Sterno, for Fabian, Yele. Yele gave
Ah.
me goosebumps. And every time I read it, whew, it just,
mm.
yes.
Awesome. Thank you, my love.
For myself, it's definitely the last poem first.
First. Yes.
The women in my family, very strong women, and I just felt really compelled to write that poem about them. So that one,
And let
that,
me and let me tell you, whenever
yeah,
I think of first, I see your mother with a white rum buckle in her hand
Mm.
and the Bible in the other.
It's very
That
powerful.
image is a
Very, very
beautiful
powerful.
image
Yeah.
that is etched in my mind.
It's
Like I said, it's
twisted.
so because we are contradictions. We are all these different kinds of things. And just to
Absolutely.
cue everybody in before we go to Zara's faves, the book is divided into elements. So
Yes,
we did
sir.
water, fire, flesh, and earth.
Yeah.
That is subdivided into those sections. Zara, what are your picks?
Well, speaking of water, I think the ones that make me feel most grounded from Rika and Susie are those poems in the water section, which is interesting. I
Mm,
think maybe it's because I'm a water sign. I don't know what it is, but they do something for me. And I would say for Sir, it's Fitna. There's a sensuality about it, a
yes.
yes,
sweetness,
yes.
and then he says it in his accent. I delight. I delight in that play for sure. For me, it's also difficult, but Calabash does it rings true because it always takes me back to that place. I wrote it under a tent at Calabash
See
as
there?
well, so it always takes me back to
How many
that.
many
And
poems and
so
things have
many
been
poems,
written or
I
ideas
just
started
can
at
say the
Calabash?
same thing,
We are
right?
dead feet come back next year. Yes, we're affirming it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I have to add for me one of the things that stands out for me in the process, but it's a favorite for me. Section of the book is a section on with your poem, Susie.
Mm-hmm.
Hands, right?
Fletcher.
The
So
reflection.
Susie got the most feedback and constructive criticism from Prof. Morris about hands, and he encouraged her to revisit. And having him as my editor, Prof is really gracious about him don't play with him poetry. And he
Yeah.
said he liked the form, he liked what she was doing, but she should revisit. And so Susie went back to the drawing board, recrafted it, and then I had this idea. I said, let's put both of them in there, but then also have you write a piece about the process. And I love that section as this is an homage, us as writers putting our words out there, but it's also for and to writers. I love that inside glimpse at what happens for a poem to get into a book or a book to be published. You go through several sleepless nights, bawling, cussing, vexed with people, vexed with the
Yeah.
piece, till you get to the version that ends up in the book that people see. And I
Yeah.
love that kind of intimate behind the scenes glance we gave people at hands before, hands reflections, hands after. That is one of my favorite sections of the book.
Because
Yeah.
you do, you never get to see that. And as a burgeoning writer, as a baby writer, even before I put pen to paper, I was so intimidated by these books that people would bring out, these perfect
Oh,
Hmm.
tomes, beautifully edited, beautifully presented, and they would come and read it with this eloquence and confidence. And I didn't realize, as you say, that there's this whole dark night of the soul behind them.
Mhm. Oops, Susie, Kaya froze up on us.
yeah.
As she said, that night of the soul.
I mean, how?
Wow. She's still talking though.
Oh no, am I back?
You're back now. You're back now.
Bring
As
it
soon as you
back.
said dark night of the
Okay,
soul,
okay.
you froze.
No, I went dark.
Ah,
Sounds about right.
so
Sounds
if
about
you
right.
had to,
That's
wait, we lost her altogether. Nope, nope, you're back. You're back. You're back. You're back.
oh.
So if you had to pick a poem from the book to read on camera right now, which poem would it be?
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I'm freeing up, so it don't have to be one of yours. So if you had to pick to read any poem from the book,
Interesting.
what poem would it be?
Uh-huh.
And while they're looking and thinking, we just want to let you all know we are having a pop-up sale on May 14th at the Hub Co-working in Kingston, Lady Musgrave Road, and it's a pop-up sale of tribal elements and my latest book, a children's book called Djembe. So come on by. The tribal elements is 1,500 Jamaican dollars, and Djembe is 800 Jamaican dollars. So that's Saturday the 14th from 2 to 6 at the Hub Co-working, 34 Lady Musgrave Road. Run on in. Hopefully by then, my Djembe merchandise will be available. I'm doing 2 t-shirts for Djembe. And can I tell you, the kids I read to in the last couple of days, they might tell me, you should make a mug where the color changes. They might give me all one boy said, so I think you should become a millionaire. You should make Djembe like a company and you should do all the different parts of the book you're gonna do. And then when I told them I'm doing a part two, they started to give me ideas for book 3 and book 4. I think you should be about one of the girls say, make sure he has a pet in the second one. And
Yeah.
Yes, pets are
that's
very
the amazing
important.
thing about,
Pets are
we
very
write, and Prof. Morris always says this to me, that as writers and as poets, first and foremost, we're oftentimes writing for ourselves,
Of course.
important.
either to tell our stories or to heal something. But he said some writers don't care about the audience seeing it or hearing it. But he said there's something about that moment when you share it with an audience and they connect with it in whatever way, even if it's not the way you intended. I
Yes.
remember Greg Pardlow, my very first Calabash Fellowship Writers Workshop. He was an awesome, his poetry was our poetry mentor, and he said, do you care if people misunderstand your work? Does it matter? Are you writing it so people can understand it or get what you meant? Or are you just putting the work out there? So he said we should think about that as writers. He said if you're writing from a particular cultural context, are you going to have a glossary? Or most of the people them go look it up if them don't know. So he was really interesting because he was saying you do not have to explain yourself. You don't have to justify a poem. You don't have to introduce a poem. He said you can just go to a reading and read your poems and say it. But he said if you want to give a backstory, and that for me was the first time having that option because you thought, aren't I obligated to make sure the audience understand why I wrote this and make sure they interpret it right? And Greg Pardlow introduced that idea to me. I'm like, no, your
Yo.
job is to write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he said, if you want, if the things you feel must be explained, then you can. If not, leave it. Let them go look it up. If there's, we were like, wow, that's interesting. And I thought that's and for us, there's some very personal pieces in the book.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any glossary. We don't have any explanations. And I guess even as readers, we'll all be different when we read live. Because even at the launch, some of
Right.
us gave some backstory, some context, and
Yeah.
others just read. And and so that's an important thing for me of this book of tribal elements. Our journey to this chapbook, and it gets in people's hands, but also when we read it and share it, um, how will it be received?
Mm-hmm.
How will it connect with people? And will we feel the need to explain And I guess we'll explain some things,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
and other things we say, well,
Yeah.
that's
If
what
you
the
leave
thing.
it
It's,
open
it is
to,
what it is.
if you leave it open to, I think the reader, we're trusting the reader to put their own thing to it for
Yes.
themselves. So I feel
Yes.
like, if you feel like you need to give the background because you want to share the story of the poem, yeah. But
Yes.
otherwise, I don't think it's always necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Let's say a poem you wrote a piece that healed something for you. It might heal something completely different for somebody else
About
That's
it. Yes.
because of what impact an image, a word you use, or
it.
sometimes even the way you read it.
Yes.
Sometimes I've had people come to me and say, based on the place they were in emotionally and spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
the way I read something hit them.
Right. Right.
And so that other thing of voicing our work, which for Tribe Sankofa is a
I was
big part of
just going
who we are, is
Oh, yeah.
also so the audio book that Audible still hang on pan and we don't get approval yet. So they approve all the technical things, said it
Yeah.
was
yeah.
fine. But so a friend of mine told me that they take long to approve. So yes, people, we are on Amazon now in paperback and ebook and coming to Audible as an audiobook. And we're just waiting for them to say,
As
yeah,
soon as
man,
we get
run with it.
approval.
Yeah, we're hoping.
It.
Yes, fly the gate. On the find the
And
poem as we read? Found it?
yes, I've decided I'm going to read one that I haven't read yet because of that same thing. You inspired me by your speech around, that concern about people getting it or it translating. And my poem Change, I was always worried about it translating when read because I spent
Mm-hmm.
so much time on the form, and a lot of the play and a lot of my work around it was this form. It's shaped like an arrow or whatever else you
Yes.
see it as, right?
Our
Um,
boomerang.
and so yes, it's really that contemplation on this thing we call change. So I will read it, but and I will leave it as is, just like you hang up a painting and you have
And
to
so
leave it.
as she shared with you, I'm showing you. So that's what it looks like on the
Thank
page.
you.
It looks
I
like a
appreciate it.
boomerang to me or an
Yeah, you see,
arrowhead.
there you
And that
go.
was deliberate.
Yes,
Interpretation. Yeah.
Yes.
very, verily.
So
Same
here we
thing there.
have KAYAH reading her poem, Change.
Change is honey. It is slow advancing, stretching, growing. The taste creeps in, subtle and seducing, causing a smack of lips, sometimes a grimace. Close your eyes, soften your throat to let it in like air, because it shall not be deterred. And then sweet and pungent, it lands and envelops you, sharpens your gaze, shifts your perception. Change is vital. Change is toil. Change is magic. Change is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome writer. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you. Lady
Thank
Susanna,
you.
what did you
So
select?
I
There's
thought
some
we were doing any poem. That's what you said,
Everybody
right?
agrees. Any
you did
poem. Any
rose in my
poem.
back.
So I was looking at Fitna. Yes.
Oh,
So Fabian's poem is called Fitna. All right. I'm fitna get close. So close, your smell's gonna fill me up. I'm fitna taste your sweat. Sweat with my tongue. I'm gonna get close. So close, I'm gonna be able to feel you breathe in, out. So close, we gonna breathe together. Out, in. I'm fitna let you inside my heart, under my skin, all up and around my innermost places, everywhere. Then I'm gonna return the favor. I'm fitna love you big, bold, fitna let you love me loud, long, fitna.
yeah.
Oh my. Oh
Yeah!
my. Wow.
What kind of auto art is
I wasn't
that?
looking for all of that today, but
And
here
here's the
we
other
are.
It comes across to me like,
That's
I'm
juicy.
fitna loud.
here's the other thing, and and Susie knows this because um we're working on a course together for Reggae Online, which is actually what the second episode is going to be about. And big up my producer, my new producer, and co-contributor to this is Michael Sean Harris. And I'm interviewing Michael will be the second interview that's released, which you'll see, which you can watch today. Language and linguistics is a thing I've always been fascinated by, accents and culture. And so Fitna, the southern accent has always appealed to me. Me love it, me love it, me love it, me love it. And a friend of mine was away, went to the south, and he kept posting these southern things. And he posts something, and I've loved the thing about Fitna fixing to. And when he posted it, I was like, so if you notice, the caption is Ocean's fault. His name is Ocean. It's because of his post that I wrote Fitna. Yes, yes.
Nice.
So I'm gonna do my shortest poem in the book. Actually, I was in my haiku experimentation period,
Yes. Gotta
and
have
I said,
one.
let me try writing some haiku. I think I wrote two, and this is one of them, and it's called Middle Passage.
Mm-hmm.
Did the dolphins know, merrily swimming astern, the hell in the hold?
Mm,
That's it. I
mm,
always had, I don't know what film or documentary brought that juxtaposition to me of when our ancestors were in the belly of those ships
Yes.
and the dolphins, swimming aside merrily as they do. Could they sense it? Could they sense the pain, the air? And so that's where that came from, called Middle
mm,
Passage.
mm.
My peoples, my peoples, my peoples. So, like we said, our other co-writer and fellow journeyer is Rica G, and she's, I believe, on her way. She was on her way to Bull Bay when we recorded this.
Mm-hmm.
To do
Mm-hmm.
poetry and writing things there.
Yes.
But we're gonna post a clip from her at the end of the episode, so you see and hear her vibe and feel her. Do you ladies have any closing comments or remarks for the people watching this Fabian Seh episode, season 3, episode 1?
I'm beyond myself with the process we've been through with this, and I'm just ready for the part where we get the book from our minds into your hands. Stay tuned.
So just excitement. Go out and get the book, guys. I think you'll enjoy our little chapbook. I think you'll enjoy the voices. The book itself is beautiful, as we showed you.
Pretty
Yeah,
bad.
you will enjoy it. Yeah.
Also, I'm going to say to you, Zara, Susie, and this is something that when I did my first self-published book, New Thought, New Words, my colleague Ian McKnight, every time I say me lick a book because of the size, he says, stop calling it a lick.
Okay. All
It's
right.
a big
Very,
book.
very.
Even though it have few
Big
pages,
book. Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
calling it a lick. And I was like, say you're right. He says, a
The
big, big book.
psychology. Yeah, the psychology.
Yes. So I meant size in turn, and he said,
Yes.
it's a big, big,
Don't
big, big
belittle
book.
it.
I'm in size too, but
Big
so
book, small
yes, get
small
our
book.
Yes.
book. Yeah.
Oh, and also
Awesome
trigger.
book.
So physically now it's available only at Bookophilia.
Mhm.
Right.
I'm in negotiations with Brian's bookstore. They're not telling me yes yet. And beginning a conversation with the Yui bookshop. But check us out on our social media and we'll let you know the other places. But right now, Bookophilia or from one of the writers,
Yeah.
and also at our pop-up sale on the 14th of May.
Yeah.
Verily,
Zara, what are your parting words?
my parting words are to watch this space because
Mm.
there is more to come. It's called Volume 1. This is
Yeah.
Hey,
Volume 1. The Tribe Tings are gone. So just continue to stay close.
Stay
nice.
tuned.
And you can stay tuned to this space, Fabian Seh, but you also can catch Tribe Sankofa. We're on IG,
That's
we're
right.
on Twitter and Facebook as Tribe
And
Sankofa
YouTube.
everywhere. And we're also on YouTube as Tribe Sankofa. And I'm happy to say in the last year or so, we have a website called
Hey.
www.sankofaaf.com. And that will come up at the end of the episode as well. So you can check us out there. So everybody who does Fabian Seh, have to end up playing a game
Ooh.
or something. So your choice is spelling. Hey. Rapid fire, which means whatever word I said to you, you just say whatever comes to mind without thinking.
Oh,
There's
okay.
let me ask you something, where I ask you some random arbitrary question about your life. And then there's mix up and blender,
Ooh.
about sharing and revealing things that you may not have shared before.
Ooh. Ooh.
Which one?
So we
Let's
have to do the same game.
we have to
No, you
choose.
don't. You don't have to do the same game. Nope.
Okay.
Kaya, go ahead.
I am going to mix up and blend up.
Mix up and blender. Okay. And Susie, you are choosing what?
Make me ask you something.
Let me ask you something. All right. Who wants to go first?
Kaya.
I will go.
So Kaya. So first, mix up and blender question is: have you ever shoplifted?
Oh yes, when I was 6, I stole a pack of gum from the pharmacy. I'm pretty sure I knew what I was doing. Yeah, I was testing some boundaries. I was trying out something new, and then I decided I was going to go around the house and offer gum to everybody because then we can all share. It was cinnamon flavored. My auntie asked me,
Accomplices.
"Where did you get that?" Because she knows I was not allowed to chew gum. I was like, "Well, I took it from the store."
You
Wow.
attitude. I took from the start.
Naturally.
We're also the one get gum.
Exactly where I'm going to get it.
Oh my God.
Wee.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Susie. Let me ask you something. What is your favorite food?
Food?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely shrimp pasta.
Really?
Mm.
Yes. Shrimp. I love shrimp. I love shrimp. I love shrimp. I
So
love
it's
it.
shrimp
Cheese.
Alfredo with what kind of sauce?
Alfredo. So yes, so it's
Alfredo.
Alfredo. So cheese, but any kind of cheese really.
Right.
Alfredo, sharp cheddar cheese. Yeah.
Whoa,
Cheese.
yeah, sharp cheddar. Whoa,
Okay.
come
Shrimp
on.
Okay.
Come on now. Come
in
on.
pasta.
I can't
Oh
go
yes,
better.
with the cheese. With the cheese, baby. Give
All
me that
right.
cheese.
Back to Kaya. Kaya, what was the last lie you told?
Ooh, probably that I was ready when I wasn't. I feel like this is a common.
That's natural though.
Right?
Ready. No being yet, clothes not put out, nothing.
I understand. I'm not gone in the shower yet, but
It's like when
yeah,
taxi drivers say, me nearby, me say, what you driving
5 minutes.
right now?
exactly.
And near is a
Tell me
reality.
what's around you.
Susie,
Yes.
can you think of one of or your most embarrassing moment?
Oh gosh.
Hmm?
We went deep, real quick.
That's always like right on the tip there. I don't think I should say this on camera.
Oh, okay. All right. Would you like a different question?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, let me ask you something. Do you have a favorite guilty pleasure? So something that you either know you shouldn't be doing, not good for you, or
Definitely. So the cheese, the
oh,
milks, the ice cream,
Mhm.
are
dairy.
you lactose intolerant,
I
Susie?
have sinuses. I got really bad sinuses.
And yet, still and for all.
You heard my favorite food, right? We stock up on the histol.
I was just gonna say one of my former
Hilarious.
playmakers, Kurt, and I was watch this. Kurt was allergic to shrimp, but it was a mild allergy. Unlike Dre, who had a serious. If Dre eats shrimp, who would have died? Him throat was going to close up. Manager's cocktail party, there's always one heap of shrimp. Whenever Kirk was assigned to the manager's cocktail party and I was present, he would come to me at the start and say, "Sir, in about half an hour, remind me to go down and take the medication."
Uh-huh.
Because
Yes,
he
sir.
were about to wagger down into the shrimp
Mm-mm.
and then take the medication.
Mm-mm.
And I said, so my job is to remind you
You.
to go and take, yes, sir, you're my father, you're my manager, but you're also my father. So even across the courtyard, I'd be going,
Yes. You're such a good friend.
because he might
Yes,
go eat the shrimp and then take the
we
medication.
like to play
But
with
you
our
have to
lives. We like
understand,
to play.
it's the
It's
hill
worth
that
it.
we're willing to die
It's
on. I
worth it.
mean,
Look
Yep.
you love
here,
it so
look
much.
here.
Because I'm
You love it
lactose
so
intolerant.
much.
Sometimes I
Aye,
just
sir.
get things to happen.
So my peoples on camera with me and our peoples watching,
There,
we want
yeah.
to thank you for joining us for this A Tribe Ting conversation and journey as we're talking about our very first chapbook, Tribal Elements, bracket, A Tribe Ting Volume 1, that is now out and in the world. We're very excited, and like you said, we're having a pop-up sale on May 14th at the Hub Co-working from 2 to 6. Join us, check our social media, and join us, and also buy the book and gift the book. You know, Father's Day come up, Christmas come, birthday keep, all these things, and it's available online for our foreign friends who are watching and who will listen. And I want to end by saying I'm really, really blessed and excited to be launching season 3 of Fabian Seh, talking to these two lovely, lovely human beings about a book I co-wrote with them, and then also at the same time celebrating Djembe, which is my first children's book, which is alive and in the world as well. We give thanks, and big up and shout out again to my new producer and co-conspirator, Michael Sean Harris, behind the
The one.
screen. We give thanks, we say love, and we say, Rica G, we love you.
We love you.
And we saw you weren't here for this. Big up on yourself, enough love and life. Fabian Seh, checking out. Peace.